Hey guys, welcome back to Collective Connect, and today I got my boy Drew on the show. Drew's a guy that I met in Cardiff, and we only met about a couple months ago, I think it was, and when I met him, we strung off, had really good conversation, followed each other on social media, and now he's on the show. Drew is somebody who studies international politics, if I'm correct, and he's just a really awesome dude. So Drew, why don't you introduce yourself, man? Just say
it's a pleasure to be on. So my name's Drew, I study at City University London. I do international politics, and today I just want to talk a bit about social media and how different people use it, how it affects different people, because you did a video a few months ago about social media.
Check that out, give me that clap.
And I just wanted to take it a little bit further, talk about some more ideas, and how different people use it, how it affects people's lives, and just ideas of how we could use it not into the future, but just in our day-to-day lives. So,
kind of like using it for like the maximum benefit of us.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of benefits with social media, but I feel like sometimes if you use it unconsciously, it's kind of like the negatives come out quite a bit.
Exactly, yeah.
So I feel like there's that as well.
Yeah, so like I said, there's a lot of benefits, but a lot of people, they get too involved with it. So, you can wake up in the morning.
Right.
The first thing you do is go on your phone, check Instagram, check Snapchat, whatever, and it ends up taking over your next 3 hours. You can lie in bed. Like, I know people who've skipped uni just because they can't be bothered. They're on social media.
Yeah.
They're just scrolling through Instagram. They're like, oh my God, like, I should be in uni now.
It's like so stimulated, you just don't engage in the real world, because it's like so much stimulation makes you apathetic. Is that the word? Apathetic, yeah. Ape, probably not ape. Yeah, so I guess I got a question for you, and it's kind of like, to give some context about you as well, why did you decide to study international politics? What got you into that? It's very interesting, because like, we need young people to focus on things which not everyone necessarily want to do, because I don't think everyone grows up I mean, it's very admirable, and I love politics. I studied politics as an A-level, but it's like, we need more people who are going to focus on hard issues, but I like, but anyway, tell us why you...
So I think if you'd asked me 4 years ago, do I want to study international politics, my answer was straight away would have been a no.
Right.
But then 4 years ago, nothing was going on that's going on now. So currently we have crazy stuff going on in America.
Right.
We've got crazy stuff going on in the UK.
Can you give some examples? Like, what do you mean? Like,
well, so we've got Donald Trump, obviously. He's talking about his wall, which he doesn't even want to fund himself.
Yeah, right.
Which is crazy. We've got obviously.
Wait. So he wants to get other people to fund it?
Yeah. So he was trying to get Mexico to fund the wall originally.
Oh really? Yeah. No, I remember that. Yeah. So ironic.
And then obviously in the UK,
we're gonna keep you out, but we want you to pay.
You're paying.
Right. Cool.
Yeah. So and then obviously in the UK we've got the Brexit vote, which happened 3 years ago this year.
Right.
So it's 2.5 years ago now.
Yeah.
But we still haven't got a deal. We're technically leaving in March, but no one really knows what's going to happen.
Right. Well, what's your viewpoints on like Brexit? Because like for me, like I kind of like, I know Brexit happened, and like I'm kind of informed I've looked at like the pros and the cons. I've looked at like the basic things, but like I'm not deeply informed. Whereas I think maybe you might, or like what's your overall? So I'm not one to make like a judgment like, oh, this is bad, when really there could be good things to it as well. It could be a bit of both.
Well, I mean, personally, if I was of age when the vote happened, I would have voted Remain.
Right. Cool.
However, with that being said, people now are like, oh my God, it's going to be a nightmare, it's going to be a travesty and all this, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as people may think. Like, okay, we are losing some trade, but with that being said, we can gain trade from other areas.
Right.
We will get deals with America. We'll remain our deals with America. And people in Europe other governments in Europe will still want to trade with us, no matter what deal we get.
Right, because of the industry we have in the UK.
Exactly, yeah.
Kind of
so
like the consumer market,
exactly.
I guess.
We have a very skilled workforce in the UK.
Right, yeah.
So we
highly educated, very intelligent.
Highly educated, very intelligent. We can manufacture a lot in the UK.
Right.
There are places you can manufacture.
And we got British accents too. Sorry.
But there's a lot of industry in the UK that other European nations need. So I don't think it's going to be as bad as people are making out. People are saying, oh, it's Theresa May's fault. But if Jeremy Corbyn was in power, it'd be, oh, it's Jeremy Corbyn's fault. So it's not about the people in power. It's just about how we take this deal going forward. And I don't think it's going to be anything like as bad as people originally thought, or still think now. Like, I'm not saying...
So you're quite optimistic on the situation, which is good. I feel like you have to be.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be, really. But yeah, I just don't believe. I think people are being quite narrow-minded on the whole thing. Because it's just, oh, Theresa May's rubbish.
Right.
She can't get a deal.
Right.
And it's not Theresa May not being able to get a deal. All it is her opposition saying, nah, she's rubbish. And just blocking it straight away, whatever she says.
Because I feel like with like a lot of politicians, and I feel like sometimes the problem with politicians when they communicate to, you know, their citizens or their you know, the people, their what they call it, constituents. Yeah, right. I feel like a lot of the time they don't devise a clear strategy and they don't find coherence within the parties that they work with, and then when they devise that strategy and they create a policy for how they're going to execute it, and then they communicate that with people and actually share what they're going to do in the simplest way, I feel like sometimes you can make very complex things very simple for people to understand. But I feel like sometimes it's either too complex where you don't understand, or it's too like motivational punchline, kind of engaging people on like an emotional kind of like, yeah, I agree with that, rather than this is what we're trying to do. Do you know what I mean? So I think that could be a bit of a sticky point for people and politicians. I think that might be a bit of a gap. Just an idea.
I think politicians do explain things, and they do simplify it as well, like you just said. Cool. So, like you said, if it was too if they went out on a tour and they just read their entire mandate, people wouldn't care. Yeah, they wouldn't care. Sleep. I mean, it'd be the right thing to do. Not the right thing to do, but it would explain what they're doing.
Right.
But people wouldn't care because it'd just be a 2-hour-long speech reading from a piece of paper. However, I think the problem does come, like you said, when they simplify it, but they oversimplify it a lot of the time, I reckon. So people just don't really know what's going on.
That's kind of what I was alluding to, sort of. I feel like the oversimplification.
Yeah. So all that is about finding middle ground, I think.
Right. Why do you think finding middle ground's important? Because it's something I believe in to most extent.
When politicians are explaining their motives, or
in terms of, I think politics is like an important area for it to happen because you make these big decisions on behalf of a lot of people. I think it's an area that should happen. But just in general, what's your thoughts on middle ground?
I think depending on the scenario, middle ground can be important. Excuse me. So, in terms of politics,
right,
in the modern day, an extreme leftist or an extreme rightist would never get into power because there's so few people that agree with them, and there'd be so much opposition to them. So, at the turn of the century, politicians all over the world, mainly following the UK, started to become really centralised. So Jeremy Corbyn now is seen as quite extreme left, or even socialist sometimes. Whereas in 1995, he would have just been a regular leftist politician.
Right.
So, turn of the century, sort of Tony Blair, he was right-wing, but he found middle ground and he stole voters from every single party, and that's how he got in.
Right.
So he was very clever in finding the middle ground, using that middle ground, and sort of
leveraging it to his advantage.
And like stimulating voters who weren't really sure what they should do.
Yeah, it's like just communication, really, and just communicating with people, and to actually get them to buy in to your ideas. Yeah, that's awesome. So obviously we've got some context about you now, that you really know your stuff with politics, and you're very I think you're quite a holistic thinker. You think of things from multivariants, which is awesome because I think it's a really interesting way to go about and find like the profoundness in things which may seem very just objective and simple. So it's like, instead of making an assumption, you question the assumptions, and then
for sure,
and then you create something new, ideally for the betterment of people and for the highest good, possibly. Definitely, not possibly. So let's crack in on social media.
All right.
What's your thoughts on social media? What really encouraged you to come down to actually talk about social media? Clearly, it's quite important to you.
So, various different sort of statistics agencies, they have said that there are over 2 billion people on social media today. And that's only going to increase into 2019, 2020, and into the next decade.
Right. That's interesting.
So, with that amount of people on the same platforms, it shows that social media today is necessary.
Yeah.
So with necessities, I think we have to question why they are necessary.
Right.
So for some people, they, like I said earlier, they will spend hours on social media.
Right. Yeah.
Just doing nothing, and that is their day. That's their routine.
Right.
So, you know, like I said, it's you wake up, you check Facebook, Instagram, and the first thing you see, that will affect the rest of your day. So for me, I would rather wake up, I'd rather go get a shower, get some fresh air, get some food.
Yeah. So kind of like
that way, I'm immediately in a better mood than I would be if I woke up and I saw a celebrity's died on Twitter.
Right. Yeah.
Or
like some dude who just bought a Lamborghini whilst fucking a supermodel.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. Props to him, but
it's cool. Fair play to that guy. But I doubt he got that Lamborghini by waking up and checking Instagram.
Yeah. Right. Nah. Yeah. For sure.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe he's on Instagram now.
We are a product of our habits.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think rather than waking up and checking social media, you should wake up and practice your mindfulness. So I'm not saying wake up and do 3 hours of yoga. If you want to do that, be my guest. It's probably very good for you.
Yeah, right.
You know, even just wake up, do a little stretch, go for a shower, get some fresh air, go for a walk, whatever.
Right.
But that is an immediately better start to your day than checking Instagram for even 20 minutes. So there are negatives to social media. Like, that is fact. Like, that's not even opinion.
Agreed.
That's a fact.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you, and I feel like there's multiple reasons why social media could be bad for you, and I think there's good reasons as well.
Well, of course there is,
So, I think that the way you actually perceive the content, it's like you get stimulus, and this content can be something which was created by someone, and it could be something really stupid, like someone having a hamburger, someone traveling, someone just a picture of their dog. I think the way you respond to that content is really a reflection of how you think and see the world, because obviously it's your perception. You get it and you perceive it in a certain way. So I feel like social media can be used in a healthy manner if you've got a, not to sound like, you know, obnoxious, but a healthy mind, sort of. I feel like you can look at things and actually be inspired rather than dampened or feel like you've been brought down. So I think that's important, the way you perceive the content. And also, what I do think's amazing about social media is the fact communities can be built on it.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's kind of like the basis of this podcast, really. It's like trying to get as many young people on, get as many young people listening to it. And it's like, oh, wow, there's like a platform for young people. Not to big that up too much. But I think also what you said in the beginning, when you were starting, is like this idea of necessity. And it's kind of like, this isn't going anywhere. No. This is going to stay. And it might be Instagram today, but it'll probably be some like AR, like, you know, augmented reality,
yeah. So
some
one
interactive.
Day Instagram will probably die.
Yeah, for sure. Or it may evolve and pivot.
Evolve.
New.
But in 10 years, even if that Instagram isn't a thing anymore, something else will be a thing, and it'll be bigger and better. Yeah. And I think we just need to tell people that it can be good, it can be bad, because of that. But sorry, just going back to, I want to talk about a lot of good things as well. So. Right. For me personally, I don't need Instagram. Whereas I know a lot of people at Central St Martin's or LCC, LCF sort of thing. Right. And for a lot of people, young creatives like yourself as well. So I know a guy at TSM who does menswear. Right. For him, Instagram is a portfolio.
Let's collab, bro.
I'll happily introduce you.
Sweet. Collaboration's happening right here. Jump on the podcast.
So for people in that sort of industry, Instagram, even Snapchat, and you've experienced this, it is a portfolio. It's a way to get your content out there. Right. So
brings a lot of opportunities.
Exactly, yeah. And also a lot of the time, photography students. Like, I know people with thousands and thousands of photos. Not a single one is of them or about their day. It's just, look at my work. Yeah. I photographed this celebrity.
Yeah, awesome. And that's pretty much what I do with my Instagram.
And just that can get you recognised.
For sure. Yeah, 100%.
You know, a hashtag for these people can change their entire week or even career potentially.
Right, yeah. Like, I got a job at a company called the Big Youth Group, and I'm head of creative there. And how I got the job was purely just by social media.
Exactly, yeah.
And that was like crazy. So yeah.
So awesome. That's what I mean. Social media can be an excellent tool for people like yourself. Right. Currently, for me, I'm just going to lectures every day, doing politics lectures. I don't need Instagram yet. I think one day when I'm creating more stuff, so I sort of want to build my own startups, that sort of thing. Once they're available, once I become that, I may need social media. But currently, as an individual, I don't need it.
Yeah, right. That's good. That's a really, because it's like kind of like the producer and consumer mindset.
Exactly.
Like you can be a consumer of the product. And the funny thing is with social media, you are the product.
Yeah.
It's designed, like the platform is literally designed to keep you engaged. The way you swipe up, it has like the spinning roulette thing. It's kind of like a jackpot. It signifies, it stimulates.
That all means nothing. You know, social media all updates by itself. It's all automatic. All social media, it's automatic. It updates by itself.
What do you mean?
All that is pulling up. It makes you feel like you're doing something.
Right.
If you just scroll down Twitter, it automatically updates by itself. You don't need to pull down on it or anything.
Really?
Same with emails. That's just technology in general. So like that's all just stimulus to keep you on your phone, keep you on your Twitter, on your Instagram, whatever.
Yeah, to keep you really engaged. Yeah, I mean, it's a really interesting point, and yeah, it's a really cool point, and mind blank.
I think companies as well. For companies, it is nowadays vital because you get companies like any company, but like with millions and millions of followers, that is free advertising for them. And those people who I said, you know, wake up on Instagram straight away or on Twitter straight away, they are immediately consumers to these companies.
So how do you use social media? I guess is a good question for our listeners to kind of understand your habits and the way you approach it.
Currently, I just use it casually. I limit myself to X amount of time per day. It'll be like a couple of hours maximum per day.
Do you use like the timers that social media has? Because like Instagram's introduced this idea that you can like limit your time and it'll give you a notification when you've been on it for too long.
No, I just don't use it.
It's pretty good. Yeah, fair.
But I might actually use that because I do sometimes catch myself slipping and I'm like, oh god, I've been in it for like way too long now. I need to get off. But so yeah, I just use it casually for entertainment. Like the people I was not slating, but like the people I was saying, they wake up. I don't wake up and just go on it straight away, but you know, I will check social media. Yeah, I have it on my phone. I'm gonna check it. So I don't use it like you to sort of provide content yet, or do YouTube videos or Instagram TV videos. But you know, I don't need to yet.
Yeah, I guess that's like really interesting to like think about is like the user dynamics, and each different user has a different way of approaching it. Yeah, and like they may have different.
And it is very individual as well.
And like they have different kind of approaches to how they use the platform and different perceptions about. So I feel like when it leads on something maybe like mental health, because there's been like this interlink between social media and, you know, mental health problems rising. I feel like you got to figure out what type of user you probably are. And it takes a bit of like critical self-reflection.
And also what type of user you want to be.
Right.
I think.
Yeah. Awesome. I agree with that. I think like, beyond just the user, it's what type of person do you want to be?
Yeah.
I guess is the question. Like, you have to ask yourself, you have to like create a vision for what your life could actually look like. Yeah. And like there's this idea, you know, be the hero in your movie. You know, it's like come up with the idea for what you want, because everything's an idea. Do you know what I mean? I go back to this again and again. It's what I said in my last few podcasts. And it's like if you can sit down and write down what your life could look like, you can actually do it.
Yeah, if you manifest what you want to be, you'll become that.
Yeah, and it's about taking action as well and creating a strategy. But then it's about wanting to put in the work as well.
Obviously, but if you're able to visualize what you want, if you take the right steps, you will become that eventually. Sooner or later, you will become that. Right. And I think
it's about sharing that process as well.
Yeah,
that's why I've started this podcast. That's why I'm on social media. Is because like I get to share my process, and ideally one day in the future,
and you will meet a lot of people doing this as well.
For sure, and like people. As well as like the personal benefits of actually like being able to like meet people, network, get opportunities. It's as well like one day, hopefully there's going to be a kid who's like 15 in Kansas who could look at my story.
Exactly.
And it's actually documented. Maybe my kids could look at my story and be like, wow, that was cool. Yeah. I mean, like, I may die tomorrow. Like, the story may end short. I'm optimistic. Hopefully it won't. But, you know, like...
I hope not, yeah.
Hope not. Touch wood. Where's the word? Touch. All right, cool. So, I just feel like it's great to show a story and actually tell your... I think it's about figuring out yourself. And then come into social media with that perspective, rather than creating content just for the sake of what people will actually engage with. Yeah. It's like, I think if you can figure yourself out and share your message with the world in whatever capacity, I feel like people are quite nice, and people are like, deep down, people have actually got good hearts and good intentions. So if you see someone doing something positive, it may weird you out a little bit for some people, but but eventually you'll be like, oh, that's really cool actually. When the consistency happens, you know, I feel like when you start something, people are very easy to be like
what's he doing?
What's he doing? Yeah,
why are you doing that? You can't. Your own mates as well.
Sorry?
Even your own mates sometimes. They'd be like, why are you doing this?
But why are you doing that? And then eventually over time, when you build up a momentum, it's like,
that's why you're doing it.
Right, that makes sense. That was your idea. That was your strategy. I was like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, I think following the right people too.
Right.
If you're using it, follow the right people.
Great point.
Because if you just follow, I don't know. If you just follow a car company and just your friends.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't follow your friends.
Yeah, follow your friends.
I'm saying follow your friends.
Or set up a private account for that.
Maybe your friends inspire you. Maybe you are following the right people already.
Yeah, for sure.
But
I've unfollowed a lot of like my friends and like people like I'd see and I'd still be really nice to and I'd really talk to and I really like. I enjoy their company, but like
I'm not bitter at anyone.
Yeah, no, for sure. There's no need to be.
But I don't need to see what some person from Sully's having for breakfast. You know?
Yeah, I know.
I want to see what Jeff Bezos is doing.
Yeah, exactly. Bezos, that's so funny. Bezos.
Bezos.
Bosoms. Sorry, that was so random. Bosoms. Bezos. Emil, can you hear us? We got my friend Emil sitting in the other room recording us. He took off his headphones. He's just looking at us so blankly. Right. Yeah, no, it's a really interesting point. And I just feel like I unfollowed a lot of people who wasn't actually providing any value to my vision or my life. And if you are on social media for long periods of times, if you're on it for long periods of time, it's important who you follow because they're the people who are going to stimulate your mind and give you new ways of looking at the world.
Sure.
And I feel like ultimately the only way things are ever done is by changing your mind.
Yeah.
Like success, Tony Robbins says it. It's a really awesome quote. And I believe in it. I see the value in it. It's like it's 80% psychology and it's 20% work. And obviously you've got to work hard and long. But if you get it right up here, it's easy to materialise. And I feel like actually becoming someone of value in capitalist terms, I guess, because everyone's got to provide value, everyone's got to sell their selves, essentially. I feel like to do that, you kind of need to be open to learning and being open to experience. But then at the same time, I feel like you need to define what your values are and have a value system. Yeah. And if you see things that go against that value system, not in a rude way, but you will cut it out. Yeah, it's the golden gate. You can't sorry, do you know what I mean? Like you may be a lovely person, but I got values and I know what entices me and what I want to see.
A word that I've heard a lot over the last year is toxic.
Right.
Now, I think it's not necessarily overused, but people use it in the wrong manner. So it's just, it's toxic, get rid of it. But genuinely, if something is not right for you, you need to get rid of it.
Right, yeah, for sure. If you're on it and you feel like this is making me feel bad and I just don't want to produce for it, I just get off it. It's fine not to. I left social media for, I think it was in 2016. I left social media for a year and I deleted everything. Yeah. All my friends said to me, you're being weird. This is like, and I became a bit of a lone wolf. The best, when I enjoy being by myself, I actually enjoy being around other people. Whereas like, if you're constantly being stimulated and always keeping up with the Joneses and seeing what people are doing, you never have time for yourself to contemplate and reflect and think and plan.
Well, I was hanging out with my brother yesterday and, the amount of times over the last month he said to me, I need to delete this, I need to delete that, has been crazy. He said to me last night, I deleted Snapchat a week ago. The last week alone, he has been ridiculously happy. It's amazing.
Right.
And
wow.
I believe it's just because they're cutting out Snapchat.
Right.
Because people...
How old's your brother?
He's 2 years older than me, so he's 21.
Okay. I thought you said 2, and I was like, oh,
no.
Pretty advanced, these young ones, aren't they?
Yeah. So he's 21, and he deleted Snapchat about a week ago.
Shout out to your brother.
Shout out David.
Yeah, shout out David, man.
And like, just getting rid of Snapchat, he's gone to uni so much more easily, he's studying more easily, and he's just generally happier from what I can tell.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
And
you know what?
It's just simple.
Yeah, no, mate. It's amazing, man. I really like that because, like, if it's helping his mental health and helping him focus on what he has to do to a better extent and see you get this idea, see things with clarity, but then clarity varies for the person. Yeah. And like, I think clarity is when your intellectual mind, your thinking mind, the thoughts you have, you don't let them dictate how you see things, and you look at things from like a non-judgmental perspective. You just see things, you take experience on, and then you find out who your working with, and then you slightly deviate to be social, obviously, and work with other people, which is really important. And I think if social media helps you towards that, I think that's great. Because I feel like a lot of the time, social media can put us in these filter bubbles, and these echo chambers. And an echo chamber is basically where you hear the same thing over and over again. Okay. You like a certain post on an account, that account's going to keep popping up. You follow certain type of people, that would be the way you look at things. And you just hear the same things, it's just getting affirmed again and again and again. Sure. And then eventually you just see the world that way. Then when you encounter people, you start actually speaking to them and engaging with them in the way you see the world, rather than being open to the experience and then deviating. And I feel like a lot of the time that can be the source of not finding middle ground. Yeah. Because it's really just thinking in mind.
Your mind's been tailored by this point.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, don't tailor yourself. You're a butterfly, man. Roam free. Yeah. You are. I think Bruce Lee says it. He's like, sting. No, that's Muhammad Ali, isn't it?
That's Muhammad Ali.
Yeah. Okay. I forgot how it goes. Embarrassing. Beep. Yeah. Cool. Let's play a game.
Let's play a game.
Yeah. Me and you. Cool. Knock down Ginger. I'm joking. That's a really bad joke. All right, cool.
Awful joke. Come on.
Yeah, come on, man. Where's the banter, man? Come on, we need you. So let's create a strategy, an idea, theory for how we can make social media usage better right now. Let's do it. So you start. Rule 1.
Limit your time.
Limit your time.
I think that's the most important. Limit your time on it.
Okay. So probably at the beginning, take time, sit down, and maybe set 45 minutes, an hour. Know what works for you.
Oh, not even a specific time, because people are on it for different times. Right. Everyone's on it at a different time of day.
Right. Yeah.
So
I guess you always got to message people on it as well, especially if you're working like me on.
Yeah,
social
but
media.
there are people who might be on it for 8 hours. There might be people who are on it for 2. So to say to both of them, you're going to do 45 minutes. It's going to be far easier for that person who's on 2 hours rather than 8 hours.
Right. Yeah. Figure out what works for you.
Just begin cutting down.
Yeah.
But still limits.
Yeah. I guess, like, rule 2, I agree with that. I love that. I think rule 2 is probably becoming conscious of your behaviours and what you're doing, rather than being unconscious and thinking it's nothing. Yeah. So I think probably, like, start critically looking at the things you do on social media and the accounts you're following, and whether it aligns to your values. Yeah. And this is, like, very fundamental, but I feel like create values and then be able to understand how social media is it congruent with your values. I think might be
so rather than just being on it, being aware that you're on it and what you're doing, sort of thing.
Rule 3,
don't make it the first thing you do when you wake up.
Right. I love that. Woo.
It's just
morning routines, baby.
I just don't understand how you I understand how people could do it. I don't understand why people do it.
Yeah. Right.
Because your alarm goes off and you're on social media. You set an alarm for a reason.
I do that sometimes myself. I'm not
saying I don't.
Yeah. No,
but when I do, I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah, just to make people feel comfortable. Like, I slip up quite a bit. Like, I can
Everyone does.
Everyone does. It's normal, but it's like becoming conscious.
But if you can get into the routine of not doing it, like, you didn't set your alarm to wake up and go on your phone.
Right.
You set your alarm to wake up and get out of bed.
Right. Yeah.
You know? So I think that's a very important rule, is just try your best not to make it your morning routine. Right.
Yeah, I agree. And it's like, I feel like the more you get into a routine, like, I've got a routine, I'll actually read it out. So I feel like with a routine, the more you do it, it eventually becomes a habit. And when you get into habits, you do it without having to think.
Yeah, you just autopilot. Yeah, it's not a burden anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I've been going to the gym recently, and I've been going to the gym for about, how long now? About 2 months. Yeah. And like, the first few weeks, it wasn't pleasant, right? But now I go and I wake up and it's like, I'm gonna go gym today. Yeah, some audio. Fuck up. Fucking hell, Emil. Joking. I love you, bro. Shit. But like, now I go to the gym and it's just like, I can go without having to think about going. It's just I do it, and I like my morning routine. I'll read it out now. But if you want to carry on speaking, rule 4, I'll get my.
Oh, let me think. Use it for good.
Awesome. Yeah, great.
Like, if you can provide content that inspires people, or make someone laugh, or just make someone's day that tiny bit better, do it.
Yeah, I agree. It's like, when you use it for good, it gives you, it elevates your purpose. And I feel like trying to understand why you're here and what you should be. I mean, why you're here, it sounds a bit nihilistic, it's a bit weird, but like, it sounds a bit like, why do you exist? But that's another conversation for another day.
Conversation.
Yeah. But like, I feel like when you have an articulated purpose or what you want to do, and then you approach social media, and then ideally I think we're all set up to actually be a bit altruistic, really. But I feel like society is kind of structured in a way which doesn't really accommodate to that. So we have, capitalism's the main thing. I'm for capitalism. I'm actually pretty pro-capitalism. I think it's designed. I think designing systems around people is the best way to be. But I feel like capitalism, it does appeal to a part of us where I want to make stuff. I want to win. To be honest, not in a rude way where I'm going to tear down your buildings, but we just want to make stuff. Yeah. We're here to create and make shit.
Why wouldn't you?
But what I was saying was, I just feel like using it for the highest good. Yeah. It's like when you give money to a homeless person, or when you open a door for someone and someone says thank you. It's like really like
make your day better.
It makes your day better. Yeah, it makes you happier. You just become a lot more chilled around people. You can accept a lot of people. You're a lot more flexible. You're not judgmental. And I feel like the more you get into the habit of actually, how can I say it, giving rather than taking. Like, I think things just start to flow easier. And even if it's just like a video where you're like, hey guys, I just wanted to say I hope you all have an awesome day. Really random, you might think that, but have an awesome day. Love yourself, be yourself, you're amazing. That's like
exactly.
That makes someone's day. It's like, wow.
I don't want to be that guy that's like, everyone needs to love each other and all that.
Yeah,
because,
agreed.
That's not
how the world works. But I mean, agreed.
Just don't be a dick on Instagram.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Just be nice. Be a good person.
For sure.
And just use it for good.
Right. I feel like, as well, like, if you post something and it doesn't make you in a good mood, it kind of puts you down as you post it, you should probably think about the why.
If you're posting things for likes and no other reason, you don't get what you were aiming for, that ruins your day.
Yeah, I see you booty chicks. I'm joking. You're all beautiful. Follow me on Instagram at Farron College. Right.
Drew Flan.
Yeah, there you go. Boom.
Just you use social media for as much good as you can.
Yeah, cool.
Because it does affect people. No matter how you might not think your post affects someone, but it really does. Right. I guarantee it. Anyway, let's hear this routine of yours. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, that's awesome, man. I just feel like working together in communities and collaborating based on middle ground can lead to so much creation and innovation for the good. And I think that's just like something where we got the internet is something we should leverage, this amazing technology where I can communicate with anyone in the world.
Exactly.
Like this
anyone
is just
in the world,
like 100 years ago, 200 years ago, this would look like witchcraft. It wouldn't seem real. Yeah. It's just
literally the internet, like not even just social media, just the internet as a whole, has made the world so much smaller and more accessible to every single person.
Right.
Like there's 4-year-olds with iPads.
Yeah, I guess I would say I'm probably a bit of a fundamentalist. Like I can look at these technologies and I could think, right, what's the how should we operate on these technologies? It's great we have them, and they're going to keep coming because people love inventing stuff, and I guess so do I to a certain extent. But like, it's about having the core principles for how technology should actually be leveraged, rather than just going unconsciously. But anyway, my morning routine. So I wake up 2 hours before my first expected arrival somewhere, which I think actually gives me the time to folks, I don't do this every day. Like, I try to do it.
Yeah.
I've just started it like a week ago. So yeah, about a week ago. And I'm just trying to get into like the habit of doing it more. I stretch out in the morning, stretch my body, do a bit of Pilates. Mindfulness. Yeah, stretching. Tidy my room. Yeah. Make my bed. Like, get my room nice because I feel like it affects my mind. A big glass of cold water. Yeah. Big water. Get that down me. I read a chapter of a book. So if I'm reading a book, I'll read a chapter of it.
I try and do that as much as I can as well.
Yeah, I think reading's awesome. Really, reading, get on it. But I think like reading a chapter of a book really like helps me to like come up with ideas and like think about how something could be done. It just informs me and it makes me critical before I begin my day, so I could go about looking at things and analyse it from a critical perspective, consciously, rather than just falling into...
Just any sort of book or like self-help books?
It varies. At the moment I'm reading a book called Good Strategy, Bad Strategy by Philip, some business dude. It's a really good book, man. It kind of talks about how like a lot of businesses, they have like these fluffy kind of goals for their business. So we want to achieve X amount of sales, or we want to become market leaders, but it's like, how? Yeah, how? And it's like,
can set that goal, but
yeah,
I can set that goal.
Exactly, anyone could. And it's like, you know, you got like leadership is really based on like finding good strategy, but then also being like a motivational person as well. You got to get people to buy into the vision, and then people work together. But a lot of the time, the vision actually takes over the practicality. And in a lot of big companies, it's like how you devise strategy is it's not easy, because you have to look at the real realities of the situation. And in large organizations where there isn't middle ground, creating effective, coherent and clear strategy is tough, because you have to work with a lot of people who have different viewpoints, especially when it comes to things like the military. Like, military strategy is serious, man. If you get that wrong, lives are on the line. Government,
millions, literally.
Yeah, exactly. And government, politics, another important area. Businesses, another important area. And even your personal life, you could argue. So that's a book I'm reading. Also read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I've been getting on there. It's such a good book. What a brilliant book. Yeah, really go on to that. Robert Kiyosaki, man. He's a really interesting guy, man. Yeah, really, man. It's really made me more of a producer. It makes me... Another conversation, another day. I don't want to lecture about it until I can actually, have something, substance to prove it. But okay, cool. So I meditate for 10 minutes. I try to. Headspace is quite a cool app. I like a few YouTubers as well, like Michael Cellini. Actualize.org is an awesome YouTube channel. Very interesting. Talks a lot about spirituality, intuition, meditation, wisdom, creativity, systems thinking. It's really interesting. Read that, get onto that, man. Read it, watch it. And I try to do some push-ups and then some stretching at the end of it again. So to kind of engage my physical body. And then I usually go gym as well if I can. At least that way, it just makes me stronger, more confident.
It sets your day up.
Yeah, it just sets your day up, man. It just sets you up to win. Do you know what I mean? Like, there are people who wake up at 5 a.m. I really want to do that one day, but I just know. Actually, I will.
I used to do that, actually.
Really?
I used to be a swimmer. I used to swim, it would have been 9 times a week.
Right.
So, yeah, three times a week before school, I'll be swimming for 2 hours.
Really?
I was very tired, but my day was incredible every day. So,
right, yeah.
I don't swim anymore, but I still try and get up as early as I can just to sort my day out.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I wouldn't mind waking up at 5 a.m, but then, although I feel like I'd get a lot done, and, you feel so cool and everyone's sleeping, you're just doing shit what, but it's kind of just being tired. It's just you're just hits 12, you're oh my god,
I need a nap.
Americano, double shot, lots of sugar, please. So yeah,
you're going a bit off track, man.
Yeah, I know, we deviate. This is why you come on to Collective Connect. Right, okay, I'm gonna stop being a creep.
I heard if you want to get up at 5
my god, a meal's on! It's like the unconscious voice that rips through. Sorry, bro.
If you want to get up at 5 a.m, one of the key things to do is you just make sure you have things planned. Because you can get up at 5 a.m, and if you don't have anything planned, then why are you getting up? You have to have a specific reason so that you know, okay, so as soon as I get up, this is what I'm doing. And if you don't have that, then you kind of just end up wasting a lot of time. And so make sure you know what you're doing.
Yeah, so kind of having a reason why and things you're actually going to do rather than just waking up for 5 a.m. for the sake of it. Yeah, no, I agree with that, man. Yeah, for sure. I love that. I just love how you ripped through. That was awesome. You know what, Emil, can you end the show for us?
Now?
Yeah, no, not literally. I'm gonna put a call to action at the end. I'm gonna say something. Just don't end the show. I mean, can you end it off? Can you just use your really cool voice?
Well, okay, sure.
Thank you for coming on Collective Connect.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I guess it's a bit weird if you repeat it. Thank you for coming. Alright, so anyway, we're gonna wrap this up now. Is there anything you want to conclude on?
One last thing.
Awesome. I seen you were kind of going for that.
Yeah, so a lot of people, young people, old people, whatever people, have a lot of issues with mental health.
Right.
And I just want to say, if you're on social media and you have bad mental health, don't just use the internet for help. It is okay to seek help. Real life people, talk to people, your friends, your parents, whoever you can. Even someone you don't know. If you don't want someone close to you knowing all your personal details, you can just talk to anyone, because it will help you.
I love
social media is not good for your mental health.
It's kind of relying on people rather than just the internet as the tool for it, which
I just think there's a lot of awareness already, but we still need to raise more awareness for mental health.
Yeah, I mean, in an ideal world, I feel like social media would just be very meaningful and helpful content everywhere, and it would just elevate human consciousness.
Real world though.
Well, welcome to Collective Connect. We begin here.
Yeah, seek help. It's okay. Like,
okay, cool.
Please.
All right, Dustin, bro. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Honestly,
you're actually the first person I've done an interview with. So
good man.
So yeah, thank you. Thanks. Appreciate that. So yeah, man, I'm just really happy you came on.
No, I'm happy I had the opportunity.
And I feel like we're gonna try to get this out to as many people as possible.
Yeah, for sure.
Guys, you can help if you enjoyed this message, which I hope you did. Please share it with a friend who you think may enjoy it as well. Anyone's more than welcome to come on the podcast. If you've got a view or an opinion on anything, I'm more than willing to sit down and discuss it with you to really get your point across and know that young people can be united together, and we're building a generation which can go on to change the world and like elevate consciousness, become more content, become a lot more just pursue things with a lot more meaning, and just collaborate, you know, and actually make stuff. So thank you for listening. You guys are awesome. I hope you guys have a good week, a good month. You can follow my boy at, if you would like to shout yourself out, you don't have to.
Drew J. Flan.
Drew J. Flan. I'll have a link.
Instagram for good.
Yeah, exactly. I'll have a link to all his social medias, and then everywhere you can get in touch with him if you want to work with him on something, or just to reach out or whatever, and just follow him. Really cool guy. And yeah, on that basis, follow me at Farron Khalid on Instagram, and you can add me on Facebook as well. And if you want to come onto the show, you're more than welcome to. And on that note, I'm going to finally end. I love you guys. I just don't want to go. I just want to be here with you. All right, cool. Anyway, sweet. Have a good week. Have a good month. Have a good year. I love you guys. Thank you, Drew. Awesome. Thanks. Wrap that up.
Okay. Thank you for coming on Collective Connect.
Hey! There you go.